design, they've gone with a rigidized frame where it folds up flat more like a stroller, and it's going to collapse like a folding chair will, okay? So the first thing that you'll notice on this is that on this design, this arc right here, by changing the position of these bolts here, you can change the seat to floor height because it changes the arc. It flattens out the arc. And so that's how you get the design, that's how you get it closer to the ground. So if you have a child that climbs up or out of the chair, then you can get it down lower. Now, with this particular chair, it comes with a growing seat pan. So you've got up to 4 inches of growth built into the seat pan. And you've got the ability, by changing the 3 crossbars, to add width to the chair. Okay, now, the thing of it is especially they configure this chair 2 different ways. And for the state of California, if we're dealing with, CCS, you can order it with a free growth kit built into it.
Okay.
So if your child grows, which they will, more often than not length, but sometimes in width, depending on their needs, you'll be able to add the seat pan and the growth kit on the width, and to be able to accommodate them within the 5-year life that you have to certify for the chair. Now, on the chair itself, they've got a couple of different innovative designs that I thought were really neat. If I can get the back off. That I thought were really neat. Number one, you can sit a fixed recline on it. So you can open up their hips a little bit. You don't have to be at a 90. And also on this particular chair, depending on its design and the type of foot riggings you've got, you can go with 2 types of locking mechanisms. You can go with a hand release locking mechanism, or you can go with a foot release locking mechanism, much like a stroller has. It has the ability, again, that's all contingent on the design of the foot rigging, so go into a prone seating position a little bit if you need to. So, and I know that's big with therapists, especially in the young kiddos. If we can do some, neck muscle training from time to time, that really helps out. So you've got the ability. You also have the ability to do different types of arms. My first demo came out with just slip down arms, so you can get T-arms on it, adjustable height, full length, and desk length. You can do a waterfall arm pad on it, whatever you need to do to make it accommodate. Now, on this particular system, a couple of things that I thought were neat on its design was that the wheel locks are part of the frame, the anti-tips I should say, and they're spring-loaded. And that's nice because it gets them up out of the way. How many times have you folded up a stroller and had the anti-tips smack you in the leg? All been there, right? So, been there, done that. Now, in this particular one then, you can fold them up out of the way. Got 2 different upright positions here to lock it in place. They're spring-loaded. Makes it really nice. On the length on this, because you have a growing seat pan and you have a growing length on the frame, if you'll notice, we grow from the center. Now, most of your Tilton Space chairs grow from the back, right? They got this much tube hanging off the back, and you just move the back, and then you move the seat frame forward on it. And you have to be careful that you don't front load your casters on that. Otherwise, it tends to want to plow through the ground. It makes it hard to steer. So in this one, we don't have to worry about changing the axis position in the back because it basically grows from the center out. Okay, so we've got the ability then not to worry about how we're loading our casters. Now you can do a 12, 14, a 16, up to a 22. She likes it, right? Up to a 22 rear wheel on it. So if you have one that wants to propel, and if you look in the design, part of the thing that you've got is the ability to set your axle height. Okay, so again, that all affects your seat to floor height, gives yourself the ability to put a larger wheel on it. Okay, so it's just built into it. Now, in this design, another thing I think that they did that was really nice is everyone's doing this. They're enclosing or encapsulating the front caster assembly, right? They all do it. This is not plastic. Well, it is a plastic cap, but it's also incorporated into the aluminum base on it. And that's nice because being in the wheelchair business, I can tell you that all kinds of gunk gets in these things. These things end up flying off and they're missing. And then you're dealing with mud in them and they're grinding when they're turning and blah, this particular design, you've got two push tubes that are locking here to set your height. And the folding mechanism itself, the reason why they call it the click is really easy, and I'll show you in a minute how it works. When, depending on how you set your back height, you have the ability to have a little bit of room here to accommodate a seating system. Now you may have some interference with it if you've got a deep back on it or something like that. In those cases, to really fold it up flat, you may have to take the back off. But most of the backs that are out there today, the ones I rep and other vendors, they snap off pretty easy, so it's not a major thing. But if you're working with a custom molded seat, you've got the ability to accommodate that. In addition to that, the way the folding mechanism works is it kind of works similar to how a stroller does. And the process for doing it, you've got a stroller handle, you also have the single push ergonomic handle as an option if you want it. You would lock your wheel lock in place. You would put it down in the prone position. They call it the flip because you flip these two switches up and basically grab it and hold it down.
Stop it.
Okay, and there you have it, guys.
This is our happy medium between the stroller. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Where
This is what
again,
therapists have said, it's about time you come out with something like this. So.
Yeah. Where were you last year?